How many of you have lost track of your ancestors because the 1890 census did not survive the Commerce Department fire of 1921? I know I did have. Hi, I'm Lisa Lisson with Are You My Cousin, and I'm a guest contributor here at Family History Fanatics. I'm joining my friend Devin Noel Lee from this channel to help take the overwhelm out of your research of your ancestors during this 1890 time period. This is part one of an 8-part collaboration series, and if you should miss any installments in this series, be sure and check out the links in the description below or any of the pop-ups and the information cards that come up throughout this video itself. So let's get started. And I want to start with a bit of genealogy trivia first. Did you know the 1890 census did not actually burn, as many of us have assumed? What happened was, in fighting up the fire of that where they were housed, the census record suffered significant water damage. And water and time and paper generally are not a good combination. And over time, because they sat and it was wet for so long, they just didn't survive. It was destroyed beyond salvage. So unfortunately, without that 1890 US Census, we as researchers can oftentimes come up upon a brick wall in our research. But let's get back to what we can do to solve that research problem. The loss of the 1890 population census does not have to stall your genealogy research. And in this series of videos, we will be talking about the options that you have to research around that record loss. We're going to start with talking about what did survive. There were remnants and fragments from the 1890 census that did survive. Not many, but there are some that did. According to the National Archives, fragments of 6 parts of the population census that did survive from 10 different states, and in total there are over 6,100 individual names listed in those surviving fragments. Now that's not many. I'm going to be upfront with you. That is not many, but that is, if your ancestors were in part of those census records, fragments that did survive, it is well worth checking out. There are also the schedules for Union soldiers and their widows survived, schedules for the Oklahoma Territory survived, as well as the selected Delaware African American schedule that survived. Now these can be found on ancestry.com or at Family Search. At Family Search, they are index only. Now, there are 2 other sections that did survive, or remnants that survived from that 1890 census. One was the statistics for the Lutheran congregations, and the other was the statistics for the United States, more general type things. And these were the statistics that were derived from that census that was taken in 1890 and to be used in the reports for government purposes. While not helpful to us to find our individual ancestors, it can be very helpful in bringing context and helping you write an interesting narrative about your ancestor during that time period. Now, if you are one of the lucky ones and you find your ancestor among any of these fragments from the US Census of 1890, feel free to leave us a comment below. We'd love to know if you've been fortunate enough to find them. If you've written about them perhaps in a blog post on your own blog, feel free to leave the link. We'd love to check you out. For the rest of us who can't find our ancestors listed in those surviving fragments, well, we're just going to have to pout together. But the pity party can be very short because we actually have options. There are ways to get around researching when there is such a record loss as significant as the 1890 census. Stay tuned for the next video.